All right, guys, today on the Hellstang project, we've got to start buttoning up the suspension. And the first thing we need to do is I need to get these caster camber plates installed. Now, these particular ones, I bought these from Maxpeedingrods. So I think I got these directly from the Maxpeedingrods website. I think that was like the cheapest place. You can get them on Amazon, I think, too. I'll put the link to all that stuff down below. But part of the reason I bought these, there's two reasons. One is the coilover setup that I bought is also from Maxpeedingrods. The second reason is they're dirt cheap. Basically, these are kind of a replica, if you will, of the Team Z caster camber plates, which are about $160 or so, and these were $45 shipped. So I was like, let's give them a shot. I mean, so far it looks good. You know, they seem like a pretty quality unit. I do wish they were, you know, something other than this kind of like silver color. It'd be cool if they offered like blue or red or different colors like that. But the problem was the coilover setup that I bought from Maxpeedingrods, that only comes with, I think, just caster adjustment. There is no camber adjustment. So I wanted to be able to have both. And so I was like looking around and I'm like, for $45, let's just give it a shot, pull the trigger. So far so good. Like I said, my first impression is not too bad, but let me show you the box, show you everything it comes with. All right, so they come in your little box. Now, you might at first be excited, like, oh, you're getting some instructions. Wrong. This is just kind of a little, marketing material book. Same thing for the coilovers that I got. Came with absolutely no instructions, but basically, it's fine. It's not too hard to install, but they do come with, all the spacers, all the stuff we need for the strut, and they are labeled left and right. So, then you kind of got to figure out the orientation, which that's pretty simple because there's really only kind of one way they can go. To fit in there. So what I liked about these two is these do have the fourth bolt. So, if you're going to be kind of driving hard, autocrossing, drag racing, all that kind of stuff, anything outside of normal stuff, you probably want to go with the fourth bolt. And so you just have to simply drill the extra hole, but that gives you some extra strength, right, to be able to hold this all in place. So that's how we're going to roll. All right, so do you need caster camber plates? Well, if you want to be able to kind of control and when you take your car to the alignment shop, you want to kind of get a performance alignment, where you can actually control the camber and the caster, then yeah, this is something you guys probably want to go with. If you're already in here replacing struts and springs and all that stuff anyway, like I'm doing, a complete rebuild on the whole front end, then why not throw these on, right? So in a previous video, I'll link that right here, we already removed these, the top hats or whatever, top strut covers. It's just 3 bolts, and then there was some rivets. You've just got to drill the rivet heads out, and then those pop right out. Those come right off. So that's easy peasy. But for caster, so caster is going to be the movement. If you imagine the strut, up and down, caster is if it leans back or leans forward. Usually you want it, leaned back a bit for better performance. And then camber, of course, is going to be the strut movement front to back, and usually you want it towed, or not towed in, but you want, negative camber. Basically, you want the wheel this way, right? So it's kind of tucked in to give you better performance. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to get these babies installed. So first trick is we got to measure and get our new holes drilled. All right, so to be able to measure and get our extra bolt hole, there's 2 ways to do this. One, you could take this bracket, come from underneath, pop this all through, and then mark it from underneath, and then drill it from underneath. But, that sort of sucks because then you're kind of up in here and all that stuff. So the easier way is if you actually just take that bracket, bring that over here, flip it facing down, then that'll give us the right one where we can just drill it and tap it all from up top. So let me pull that over real quick. So with our bottom plate from that side, we just take it and we can pop this bad boy in upside down, and then we'll be able to just simply mark our little hole and then be able to drill it out. So pretty simple. Now, as far as where to kind of, drill the hole and do it, most guys are just doing it in the middle. So I think that's what I'm going to do, because once it's in there, then you're going to have like your bolt coming up through the middle with a little spacer, and that'll kind of like block the hole. So it'll just kind of look cleaner. If you were like some serious super, racer dude, maybe you'd want to put it at a certain spot to be able to get, more camber at some certain spot. Probably if you started here, you could then get more negative camber. But again, this is a street car for me. So right in the middle is fine. and then we can go from there. So I'm going to go ahead and get this all lined up, and then we'll just go ahead and mark that, drill this baby out. I think I'm going to work up, looks like a 3/8 drill bit will probably fit for these bolts. So we'll give that a shot and see. All right, got it all drilled out. That was really easy. One just little tip too, I like to use these little spring-powered punches, man. It just makes it so easy. You know, for the last, whatever, my whole life, I've just used, you know, a freaking marker or something. But having these things is awesome, and it keeps the bit in place, all that good stuff. So I think I got a link to that down below in the description too for my tools. But a 3/8 drill bit did work. So you could also use like a step bit or like a unibit, you know, just to plow through there. But I just kind of did 2 or 3 little bits up to the 3/8, and that fits just fine. So I already checked it, but now we can take our little bracket here, and then this dude just goes from the bottom. See if I can do it with one hand. Bada bam, just like that. And then we can put our spacers and our nuts. So let me start to get this kind of set up. Let me put the camera up. So yeah, we just take the dude, schlep him up in here. Bada boom, bada bing. Then we put the spacers back. And so again, these were already, you know, in the assembly as it comes out of the box. So you're just putting it back, right? Really easy at this point. And then we can take our dude, slide him on, and just start putting a couple bolts on just to hold everything in place, right? And then the 4th bolt will go downwards into that bottom bracket. Ah, don't forget your washers too, like I just did. Boop. No! Don't drop your nuts either. It's always a sad day. All right, guys, so for the rest of the install, you're just going to tighten these bad boys down, and then we don't have any, you know, shocks or anything in here, but you just put your shock up. There is a spacer that goes on the bottom side, or it would be the top of the shock, bottom side of this. So this spacer goes underneath, so this would go on your shock. You'd feed that up, and then you've got the spacer here that would go on top just to take up some slack, and then you would just put your drive your nut down on your shock or strut or whatever. And that's it. So pretty simple to get these things installed, and you know, they look awesome, right? Make the engine bay look a lot nicer. But the coolest part is you get all of this adjustability, baby. All right, guys, so what did we learn? If you need to get some caster camber plates, $45 from Maxpeedingrods. Super easy install, and you get all the adjustability that you need for your Mustang. Like, share, subscribe. We'll catch you guys on the next one.